job ain't finished. The job ain't finished. Make sure you come ready to go this next week.
How about those?
Are you ready for the best Kansas City Chiefs insight? Welcome to the Four Guys in a Bar podcast, presented by Chiefs Blitz and sponsored by Eric Haynes with the Eric Haynes Group. If you're looking for a real estate expert, call Eric Haynes today at 816-729-3785. That's 816-729-3785. Now, here is your Chiefs Blitz host, Nick Athan, with Lou Montagna, Andre Tillman, and Hense Todd.
Welcome back to the next edition of Four Guys in a Bar. I'm your host, Nick Athan of ChiefsBlitz.com, alongside Mr. Hense Todd, producer extraordinaire. And you can check out his show, Bowtie Sports, 1 o'clock every Saturday on a YouTube channel. Now part of the Chiefs Blitz family. It's all good. It's all love. That's what we're building here. We're going to build a lot of fun, and we're having a lot of fun. The Chiefs are 3-0. Another just easy stroll through Atlanta. Home crowd. It was awesome. But before we get,
I like to call it the cardiac Chiefs.
The cardiac kids. Yes, the cardiac kids are back. This isn't the Brian Snipe of the Cleveland Browns era. This is the Patrick Mahomes era. Anyway, hey, before we get into the game, let's bring in our corporate sponsors. First up, Mr. Eric Haynes with the Eric Haynes Real Estate Group. If you're looking for someone who can help you buy or sell a house in the greater Kansas City metropolitan area, give Eric a call at 816-729-3785. Listen, housing prices are starting to come down. Interest rates are coming down. It's a perfect time. Fall is officially here. It's a great time to get into a new house before Thanksgiving or Christmas. So give Eric Haynes a call today at 816-729-3785 or email him at esaleskc@gmail.com.
Proud sponsor of Chief Who?
Yes, proud sponsor of Chiefs Who. And the next sponsor is my amazing, incredible wife, Emily Athan. If you're looking for custom health insurance, if you want to get a quote for your family, whether you're an individual or a small business owner, self-employed, doesn't quite matter. Health coverage is something you have to have. It's something we all need. And there's nobody who understands the entire marketplace better than my wife, Emily. So give her a call today to get your custom quote at 913-215-9086.
Emily.
He loves it.
Emily.
Luke be like, Emily.
It's all good, guys. And joining us is the other senior member, Lou Montagna.
Yes, sir.
Andre Tillman, Coach Dre, who's as he's affectionately known among those people on this
And
show.
In case you didn't, just
respect and admire him.
Look at his hat.
I know. He's got his own custom hat. We don't say he's got an ego. That's for sure. He's just a calm, rational, mild demeanored individual.
For the brand.
Absolutely.
For the brand.
They said you are your own brand, man. They said you your own brand.
Yes, sir. Yes.
That's right.
I'm just waiting for the rest of that Coach Dre collection to drop. I need some new threads.
Oh,
yeah. Hey, Ruben. Hey, Ruben is the first guy in here every time. I want to give him a shout out, you know what I mean? Because he's in here the first guy that drops a comment. Like as soon as the show starts, like as soon as I hit the live button, Ruben is right there. Every time, goddamn time. So shout out.
Back this week already. Appreciate that.
That's for all the shows. Like all the shows.
Everything. Every time.
Ruben is right there.
We appreciate you, Ruben.
We appreciate you, Ruben. We appreciate everybody that's joining in, man. And you know what I mean? Hey, life come at you very fast, right? You know, life come at you very fast. You know, you try to give somebody else's advice. The next thing you know, you giving the same advice. Somebody else giving you the same advice. And that's what happened to C.J. Stroud over the weekend. You know, he was giving advice to Caleb Williams. The next thing you know, Sam Darnold giving him the same advice. So what you think about that, Luke? I know you got your road. I don't know if it's in the road overreactions, but that's just something that's been on my mind.
That was pretty funny.
Well, I guess the most important part of this is that Minnesota is the real deal.
Yeah. Right. Absolutely.
You know, in terms of the CJ thing, yeah, I mean, he was – I don't know. I mean, you like to, as a quarterback, talking to another quarterback, saying, well, I kind of went through this the first couple of weeks of my career, maybe trying to kind of give back. Eventually, every quarterback's going to get got. I mean, it's just simple as that. I mean, there's no way that you're going to go through this thing unscathed. But hey, hopefully Sam's words resonate with CJ now.
Right.
Yeah. What you think about it, Coach?
Hey, man, good advice. Good advice. You know, Sam Darnold is a veteran. You know, he has been in the league longer than CJ. So, you know, good advice.
Yeah, well, he survived the New York media, so he can pretty much handle the Minnesota media. And
Absolutely.
he is leading the NFL in the most touchdowns at 8. And I thought it, you know, his performance yesterday was just outstanding. I thought the Vikings would win, but I didn't think the Texans would look that bad. And you know, it's you know, you put a lot of pressure on this young kid. You know, Darnold's been through it. You know, now he's got a chance where he's got a team and a coach, you know, that support him, the right offensive coordinator. He's in the right system.
Right.
And, you know, we all, you know, looked at the Texans quarterback and said, he's a can't miss. He's going to be in the AFC title game against Patrick Mahomes. And you just never know. This was the strangest week that I can remember in a long time. And I called Hense up yesterday and I said, dude, next time I go to Vegas, I'm taking you, because he picked all but one of the upsets this weekend. And I don't know where that came from, but I need to write some cash on that.
Hey, it was the cube, because my brother-in-law called me. He was like, man, he said, man, hey, he said, you was right on all the picks. He said, because he stays in Vegas. I told him, I said, hey, you probably want to put these picks in. You probably want to put the picks in, but he did put the picks in because he didn't trust the cube. Like Drake don't trust the cube. Like
not one bit. Not one bit. Absolutely.
Now Lou does it differently. I mean, he does the point spreads and everything. I'm more of a, you know, win or lose. I
actually put my name on the picks, and then I'll tell you how I did. We can speak anecdotally about this mysterious cube, but let's
still doesn't have a solid color yet.
Give the details.
Damn, I think confused.
You need to share.
They said the mysterious cube. But I always go off. My grandpa always tell me, always go off about your gut feeling, man. And I had a gut feeling every freaking time. I said the Browns, you know, the Browns good. Everybody laughed at me about the Broncos game. They said, well, ain't no way the Broncos is doing this. I said, hey, Broncos is gonna come back.
It's crazy. I mean, the Giants beat the Browns. You know, the Vikings beat the Texans. The Saints should have lost. I mean, the Steelers lost to beat the Chargers. The Broncos beat the Bucks. The Panthers beat the Raiders.
Go back and watch. I said the Eagles. I said the Eagles game is going to be close, guys. It's going to be close. It might get some people fired, but what happened?
I think he would have been under consideration for being fired if they'd have lost that game. I really did.
Yeah, he should have been fired. But I'm gonna let Lou. Let's go and get an overreactions.
All right, let's do it, Lou. Lead the band today.
Right. Well, this week I'm calling it the weekend 6-pack. I don't know if they're really overreactions this week, but just things that I saw over the weekend that really struck me. Okay, so Saturday for sure. This was one of the best college football games I've seen in a long time. USC goes to the Big House. First time they've been there in I don't know how many years. I don't know that they'd ever been there before. They usually would play in the Rose Bowl when it was Big 10 versus Pac-12 or Pac-10 or Pac-8 or whatever it was. But this was special. Not just the atmosphere, but USC and Michigan both have defensive coordinators that have NFL pedigree. You know, Wink Martindale is calling defense for Michigan. Deonton Lynn is calling defenses for USC. So you thought maybe it was going to be kind of a low-scoring game, but it was just top-notch all the way through. I think Michigan had like 32 yards passing, and this will lead into another one of my observations in terms of the NFL. But just when was the last time you think of a team winning a game with under 40 yards passing? It's ridiculous. It's just unheard of. But USC was right there. They got back in the game, but then the missed tackles again just reared its ugly head, and there you had it. But there's a few guys to keep because we'll be talking about the draft as we're getting there, but there's like 3 names on the Michigan team that I'm sure the Ravens and the Chargers are going to be salivating over. Defensive lineman Kenneth Grant, Mason Graham on the inside, and then Josiah Stewart, number 0 on the edge. These guys are top-notch NFL guys. Look for them, draft time. And USC's got some prospects as well, but those guys, I mean, it's going to be hard to argue of any of them not going in the first round.
Oh yeah,
so I thought that was just an amazing game. Did you guys get a chance to watch any of it, or
I didn't watch that much of it, to be honest with you.
I've seen some highlights. I see some highlights of the game.
Just the fact that USC was in Michigan is just a great story.
Yeah, I mean, and the fight songs, just iconic stuff. And it was 112, however many get in the big house. That was pretty cool. One from last night that I don't know if it went unnoticed at the time. It seemed like, oh my God, but the Winchester snap that Ariza went about 3-4 feet in the air to catch, and then he launches a punt that is indicative of his leg. But I just thought that catch, because if that blows over his head, now the entire game's on its head. So I thought that was a pretty cool play. Going back to the USC Michigan game in terms of formulas to win, we've been talking about it the first couple of weeks of the season in the NFL. You're seeing more and more quarterbacks throwing 25. There's the picture right there. Just an amazing catch.
He's 2 feet off the ground.
What an athlete.
Would you say that's a better catch than Kadarius Toney?
I saw that post. That was hilarious.
I mean,
just to make that play, good on you,
he's an incredible
man,
athlete. Yeah, wait till he throws the ball. It's going to be a sight to see. The play's coming. I don't know when. Maybe this weekend against the Chargers, but he's going to throw a pass soon.
Nick's calling his shot with the fake punt.
Shot early.
So anyway, you've got NFL teams winning games throwing the ball 25 times or less, which is just an amazing stat when you look at the way the game has been going over the last 10 years, 15 years or so. I mean, it's almost like going back to the 80s where, okay, we're going to run the ball, efficient short passing game. We're going to play crazy defense, and that's how we're going to win. I mean, if Marty Schottenheimer were alive, he'd be loving this stuff.
Yeah, that's
because watching that Steelers Chargers game was, again, just one of these. It may be boring. You don't see the wow plays, but the defenses are just ruling the day. So I don't know if it's protecting a lot of the young quarterbacks right now. Too high safety. I mean, you can mention all these different things leading up to it, but at the end of the day, these quarterbacks have to execute. But with the backups and some of the game plans that are being put out there, like LaFleur with Willis, right? They're finding what he's good at. He was given away basically by the Titans. To Green Bay. And you're thinking, oh, Green Bay season's done. Well, all of a sudden, Jordan Love looks like he's ready to play, but Malik Willis looks like, hey, maybe this kid can play. Maybe Matt LaFleur is a really, really good coach. So, so anyway, that's, just the formula for winning. Again, we're 3 weeks in. Maybe we get to 4 or 5 weeks in and it starts to change a little bit. But in terms of what I'm seeing, that's kind of the formula right now in the NFL. Don't make the big mistakes. Control the clock. I mean, it's just 80s football, and it's
and that's the way the Chiefs have done. That's what they faced 3 games in a row. They're all 3 teams, the Ravens, the Bengals, and the Falcons, play the exact same kind of defensive style, and the Chiefs were able to move between the 20s relatively easily. And then they got bogged down when they had to tighten. They tightened the noose defensively and they shortened the field. And the Chiefs are still struggling in the red zone. But that's the formula. And I think you make a great point about these quarterbacks right now. Look at Bo Nix. He played a nearly perfect game. At Tampa Bay to upset the Bucs, and it was just kind of similar. He took what the defenses are giving him. And Sean Payton has a lot to do with it. And I think that's the new wave, because you've got all these amazing quarterbacks particularly in the AFC, that can put up big numbers, but the defenses are shrinking the field, and the ones that execute, inside the 10-yard line are going to be the ones that are winning postseason games. But this is the new era, of the way defenses are playing.
To me, it's just shocking when you see the number of attempts in an entire game, and where most winning quarterbacks are throwing 25 or less. Where you saw Dak have to throw it a ton of times yesterday, put up some big numbers, but they lost, right? Yeah. So it's, again, we're kind of in extended preseason again. So maybe it kind of starts to go back the other way. But
teaching everybody to be balanced. It's a balanced game now. Ain't no more of them highlight throws. You know what I'm saying? It's all about being balanced now. So now, take the defense give you.
So would you agree with Matt what's his name? The guy that does the draft for all the years. Mike Kuiper. He said he said that cover two was it something should be
he said the cover two is ruining football.
If you're a TV executive, you might say, yeah, let's do that. But I mean, it's a type of defense. Maybe it isn't the games aren't as exciting, so you want more ratings, or maybe that you get more points and circus catches and all this stuff. But it's basically up to the offense now to readjust, because now the defenses have adjusted to the offenses that primarily when Andy came in with what they were doing with Patrick in his first starting year. I mean, they've copied a lot of those concepts, a lot of the different plays. I mean, you see it around the league.
Right.
They're trying to run a lot of the same stuff, and they kind of caught defenses off guard, and it took a while for them to catch up. So now the Chiefs actually are kind of playing that same style that we're talking about. There's a little bit more controlled passing game, situational football, and the defense is lights out. Okay, so referencing the best bets: Minnesota +2 winner, Green Bay +2 winner, Indianapolis -1.5 winner, Philadelphia +2.5 winner, Seattle -4 winner, 5-0. All right, so for those of you that maybe during the pick segment fall asleep, when I say best bet, those are the ones to focus on. The cube, we'll see. I don't know. The jury's still out, but anyway, I'm gonna toot my own horn today, because it's been a while for a 5-0 there. But I mentioned earlier the Vikings are a real team. I mean,
shout out to Flores, man.
So what did you win, Luke? Did you place those bets? What did you win?
Well, Hense, that's kind of a personal question. I don't want to come off as a gambler or anything. I was hoping that it would just be obvious the way I talk about games and points.
It is obvious. I ain't saying nothing.
Gambling was illegal, everybody.
It's not legal. It's not legal where we're at.
I am sharing this with the people out there. I'm giving this as a gift every week. If you want to bet the games and make a few bucks, go right ahead. It's all there for you.
Luke got the winning ticket.
We are a full service podcast.
We certainly did on that.
We are helping the economy
on that weekend. Okay, so B-Flow's defense is not to be
of Missouri
with. They're suffocated. Yesterday they held C.J. Stroud's offense to 7 points. Week before, San Francisco only scored 17 against them. So, you got to, at a certain point, start to realize what they've got going there. And KOC, what he's doing with Sam Darnold in terms of like some of these coaches where you take that kind of experienced guy that maybe, didn't work out where they were originally. And we've talked about some of these guys like Baker and some of the others. Right. But, obviously they still have Justin Jefferson. Aaron Jones has got his game going. So this is a real football team. I don't know. Have you guys watched any of them at all? Or maybe what your thoughts are on the Vikings?
Their offensive line is stout, too. Minnesota got a good offensive line, too, man. I mean, Darnold had a clean pocket the whole game. That's a stout offensive line.
And that's go ahead.
I watched some of the game, and I think it's just C.J. Stroud was just a one-reader quarterback. And I'm going to
we broke that down last night. He ain't no one-reader. Come on,
he's just a one-reader quarterback. He just say, if the play says go there, I'm going to go there.
He spread the ball to three different guys, bro. What are you talking about?
Come on, let me talk.
Let him say his piece.
I'm just saying, you want the bail, sir? We could go at it. I'll just say
let's go with it. Let's go.
The guy only reads one play, Lou. He does. He look at one guy. If it ain't there, he's not going nowhere. He's gonna take a go back and watch all his tape. That was the knock on him coming from out of Iowa State, and that's why a lot of college, a lot of NFL teams passed on.
Slow down. So now last year he had a nearly flawless first year, big numbers.
Yeah,
whatever.
And he did survey the field quite a bit.
So if he was only going to the first read for 17 weeks or whatever, how do you explain his success? I mean, it's the first read isn't there.
He's not that quarterback. I'm just saying he's not. I don't feel like like I told you guys, I go with my gut and I go with my eyes. The guy's not that quarterback. He's not.
Okay. You put Anthony Richardson over CJ.
Be honest, guys. This is Anthony Richardson's rookie year, correct?
Man, that's the excuse.
Be honest, right? This is actually his rookie year. So
it is, yeah, for the most part. What did he play? 6 games last year?
If that. So
he completes less than 50% of his passes. Right. He makes rookie mistakes and a lot of them. But on the other hand, he may make 1 or 2 wow plays a game, but is that sustainable? Are you going to be able to win like that? No. If I had to, my choice, one or the other, watching CJ Stroud for an entire season and the beginning of this season, I think long term, he's got a much better opportunity to lead your team than somebody like now Richardson. God bless him. I mean, he's going to make some wild plays. I mean, he's going to make some Cam Newton like plays. He's going to launch the ball 70 yards in the air. That's awesome. I just don't know if that's going to be like a winning formula consistently. I think CJ's okay. He had a bad game for sure yesterday, but I wouldn't put
defense, man.
I wouldn't put that particular label on him and just say, okay,
no, not yet.
Let me speak my piece real quick, man.
Hold on. Luke, can you answer this question for me? Dre says all this about this is the best. This defensive coordinator is hard to score on for the Vikings. This and that. Can you name some defenses that he coached that was unstoppable, hard to coach on, anything like that?
Flores?
Well, there's none that are unstoppable, but they didn't have a defensive coordinator per se in New England, but he was coaching the defense, so that one was pretty good. They had a pretty good defense once he got rolling in Miami. He did a really good job with Pittsburgh last year. It's pretty much everywhere he goes, they play really good defense.
Genius.
That's crazy.
That's a guy when
he's not his bag, sir. He's not his bag.
I'm just saying now.
He hasn't won Super Bowls yet, but Spags, it took him a long time to get to that point too. So we'll see. And
he's top 3-4 defensive coordinator in the
I would say now.
It's the cube telling you this, sir. It's the cube telling you that, sir. It might be the cube, Jim. I don't trust the cube.
I'm looking at this thing, right? The Minnesota Vikings. I think it's too much. It's like Luke called it today. Too much 6-packs, right? We had it's too many. It's the 6-pack guys. Minnesota Vikings is not that team. I'll put it like this.
Listen, now let me hold on, man.
They're not that team. They watch what you see. They play the Giants, guys. They beat the Giants, right?
Is they supposed to?
And the Niners.
The 49ers are like I said on last show. Everybody that played the Chiefs has been going backwards so far, right?
Everybody.
The next 2 games are at the Packers and home against the Jets.
That's certainly a take.
Yeah.
Hence, I disagree. I think Minnesota is really good.
That's what I'm trying to tell him. I don't know. So my take real quick. This is my take. So I watched the same game with Bo last night. I'm trying to tell him this. When you go against Flores defense in front, right? CJ had no time. He had no time in the pocket. Yo, hot read, boom, hot read. He doesn't have his offensive line together, bro. They was in his face. Soon the ball was hyped, they in his face. Bro.
One read guy. He's a
Sam Darnold offensive line
with Flores, it's a lot like Spags. You don't know where they're coming from. You don't know when they're coming, and there's just a lot. There's a lot of confusion. So I think, they got him that day. We'll see how it goes, but I don't think you can put that tag on a guy that played 17 games last year and was really, really good.
Real talk,
Probably playing the best quarterback of anybody in the league at the end of the year.
Towards the end of the year, I think so.
So Diggs had 12 targets. Collins had 10 targets. Dale had 6 targets. So where's the one read going?
One read that the play went to those guys. If you look at the game, I'll go back and watch the game, sir. Watch the way they play Baltimore, right? They took away his one read and he couldn't do nothing.
Was it the offensive line? Was it the offensive line that was fumbling, bro? Why you trying to make an excuse, bro? Why you trying to make an excuse? Why you trying to start on CJ?
All right, we'll let it play out. There's 14.
See what happens. They got a tough game. We'll know a lot about them in the next 2 weeks.
13 more games. I think Houston's still a damn good team. They just had a bad day.
Yeah.
All right. So the last one, and of course, it was the first 300-yard passer with 3 touchdowns in the NFL, and I'm sure everybody had this, was the Red Rifle.
That's right.
That was the first game
that was crazy.
Any quarterback this year so far has had 303 touchdowns in the same game. Yeah. But I have a question here. Who looks worse today, Bryce Young or the Las Vegas Raiders?
Man.
Who looks worse?
The Raiders
today?
For sure. The Raiders for sure.
I would say the Raiders. Bryce Young, I think he just don't fit that scheme. And it's just, you can say that for Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold didn't fit in a lot of schemes. And a lot of other quarterbacks, Baker Mayfield didn't fit a lot of schemes. I just think he just don't fit.
So you're saying these coaches don't know how to coach their teams?
Some of them don't. That's why they get fired. That's why they get fired. Some of them don't.
Well, they get fired because they don't win. But I don't know. Again, there's not necessarily scheme fits. I think it's just location, right? I mean, there's other factors there. Cleveland, Baker was never, ever going to succeed. I mean, I don't know that any quarterback's ever going to succeed.
The one they have right now isn't succeeding.
They're a little dysfunctional. Darnold in New York, that was way too much, way too soon. And they were a terrible football team. So I hear what you're saying. And I don't know if it's a scheme fit, but just to me, is it because Darnold the Red Rifle comes in, right? Andy Dalton comes in and he lights it up with the same guys. Was it a Bryce Young? Is it a Bryce Young thing, or is it just the Raiders thing?
I think it's a Bryce Young thing. Honestly, my opinion, because I do like Bryce Young. I just feel like it's a Bryce Young thing, man. That man went out there with the same weapons and threw for three and impossible, man. That offense looked good. So I think it's Bryce.
You got to remember. I mean, Dalton stood in the pocket. He made good throws. He can see over the. Again, I don't want to make this a tall or short thing. He can see over the line. He's got a lot more experience. The Raiders showed no respect for Dalton. You could tell that very early on in the game. Well, this guy's old. He's not going to pass against us. And he just lit him up. And he just kept doing it over and over and over again. He just didn't stop. For 4 quarters, he was laying the wood down on the Raiders. And that shocked me. To me, that was one of the biggest upsets of the weekend. But, for Bryce Young, who made some comments, he's not real happy. And now it's like, do they trade him? And I would think David Tepper, the owner, would probably want to. He'd have to eat a lot of money. So if that's the case, where does he go? Which team?
The Raiders. If I'm the Raiders, I'm going to go get him.
I see this. Bryce Young. I think everybody was comparing Bryce Young to Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is just a heck of a generational talent. And Bryce Young is not that.
He's not a generational talent. He's a really good quarterback.
No,
he's not generational until he proves he can win.
Who has the speed and the arm at his
doesn't
side?
Matter, dude. You got to win.
Bryce Young doesn't have a strong arm like Kyler Murray does.
That's true, but he's not He's not a generational talent.
What you mean he's not a generational talent?
He's not even close to a generational talent. What has he won in the NFL?
What is he won? He's a two. What you mean? He's a two-player sport. Look, listen, what I'm saying is this. I don't care if he played baseball. I played baseball and I did soccer. Listen what I'm saying though. Listen what I'm saying. When Kyler Murray,
the most overused term in sports is generational talent.
Listen, dude, Kyler Murray was offensive player of the year his first year, right? What that Bryce Young did?
Offensive player of the year for what?
What you mean for Arizona? What you mean
for the Cardinals?
Was he rookie? He made it rookie of the year.
You're telling me he was rookie of the year,
right? So what I'm saying is, what had Bryce Young done?
But whoa! So you're saying a generational talent is a guy who's won one rookie of the year award and nothing else.
So,
and a generational talent is playing 5 miles from your house in Kansas City.
And he took the Cardinals to the playoffs, though.
What? He lost.
How did this become a Kyler Murray conversation? Where did that come from?
He's comparing Bryce Young to Kyler Murray.
Okay, Bryce Young is not. I will give
Kyler Murray half.
Okay, Bryce Young is not as good a quarterback as Kyle Murray, but neither are generational. There's absolutely no way.
Okay, so what you call a generational talent then? Who was a generational quarterback?
Patrick Mahomes.
Why?
Generational talent is
usually when they use that term, it's usually a guy that's coming out. It's like a one-time thing, right. They said, John Elway, right?
Yeah,
Andrew Luck. And then they try to put it on Trevor Lawrence because he was kind of number one in high school, number one in college. And again, so that's what you put these tags. You put these tags on these guys
right.
At such an early stage, they can go nowhere but down. So I feel for Bryce Young. He may get traded.
It's a terrible situation.
But the interesting thing is, and why I said the Raiders, is that Antonio Pierce, after the game, called out his team and used the term business decisions.
Yeah.
Some players, he's calling his own players, saying they were making some business decisions on the field. And he's like, well, I think we need to make some business decisions ourselves, meaning himself and maybe the front office. So I don't know. I mean, it's great conversation to have because again, it just looks like, oh my God, Dalton comes in and they're running it up and down the field, scoring 36 points. They couldn't get a first down with the other guy. Right. And now, the Raiders coach is like, hey, we got guys.
I'm just saying, God, Bryce Young is nowhere near close to Kyler Murray. So we got to stop.
No, we agree.
And he's short, though. And he's short. Like, he doesn't have the IQ.
Short.
He doesn't have the IQ. He doesn't have the IQ.
He doesn't have.
How do you measure that? What? He doesn't have the IQ.
Look at his production since he's been with Carolina, guys. It's been horrible.
That's not all his fault.
That's like you trying to measure both of your pinkies and saying one is stronger than the other.
One is stronger than the other. One is stronger than the other.
Both of them short.
I'm just saying, man. But Bryce Young,
I think what's going to happen is this: he's going to end up going to one of these teams with an offensive head coach. Not to say Dave Canales wasn't the offensive head coach. I think Dave Canales probably wanted a little bit more time with him, but maybe the owner had other ideas. But bottom line is this: maybe he doesn't become like this great player, but I think he will be a functional quarterback in the NFL given the right circumstances.
So let me say one more thing. Let me give Coach Dre his props here. Kyle Murray is a good quarterback. We can't label GOAT or generational or anything like that. This is just my opinion. Until they've proven they can win something big. Winning a playoff team and winning Rookie of the Year is all great. But listen, it's about the bling. It's about the rings. It's about the championship. It's about the division titles. And until another person outside of Patrick Mahomes can have the same type of success that he's had as 6+ years as a starter, that's the only generational quarterback that exists in the game today. And that doesn't mean that Joe Burrow's not a good quarterback, or it doesn't mean that Allen's not a good quarterback, or all these other guys they're all good quarterbacks. But Patrick is one of one, and he is a generational talent for this time.
Right.
And there'll be another generational talent that'll come after him. Right. And it may be the Nebraska. Who knows?
And some of the guys that get that label, it's almost impossible to live up to that.
And I don't think Murray can handle it.
Maybe it's the guy. Maybe it's the guy in the Green Bay uniform. A lot of people ain't giving him no credit, but he went back and took out his whole.
Wait. Let me go back to Nick. Nick, so you saying to be labeled as a generational talent, you have to have championship rings. You got to have bling.
You have to be a champion. Talent? You have to be a champion. When you come into the NFL, if you want to be considered that next great player at your position, I'm not talking about anything else. I'm talking about the quarterback position or the tight end position or the running back position. Someone comes along that changes the entire landscape of the position in the NFL. Patrick Mahomes came out in 2017, started in 2018. And he has won. He's been in 6 straight AFC Championship games. He's been in 4 Super Bowls. He's won 3. He's won the division title every single year. And last year, he did something he's never done before. He goes on the road to Buffalo. He goes on the road to Baltimore in a team that is terrible offensively or inconsistent. And the generational talent got him to another Super Bowl win. So you're looking at it from too high a view until Murray comes up. Now, if Murray goes and wins the Super Bowl this year,
I think the coach's point in terms of when you say generational talent, I think you can still have generational talent and not necessarily be like champions.
Right.
I think to me, Dan Marino was a generational talent. He had more arm talent than just about anybody I've ever seen.
Or how about
There was no second to his arm.
But he never won anything.
No.
So he kind of gets lost in the shuffle because of that. So I think when you start laying the championships on guys, that's how the generational talents, I guess, separate. So I agree with you there.
My take on generation talent is you got to be a Jordan, you got to be a Kobe, you got to be a LeBron, you got to be them the type of guys.
How did we get to basketball? Man?
Hold on. Let me finish.
Basketball. We're talking basketball.
Let me finish.
We're talking basketball.
You go around.
Even the take.
Dre, I'm about to beat you. I'll tell you, you got your generation talent, right? Like somebody that guys that only born around that generation, and like, okay, next 10 years, next 20 years, and maybe another kid get born and probably owns up to Kobe or LeBron or Jordan or a Patrick Mahomes or a Brady or
Mario Lemieux. Yeah, you can go on.
I think that's where the distinction is that Brady became that, but he was never a generational talent coming out of college. Right. He was obviously a sixth round pick and wasn't like a great
hidden talent.
Was not a great athlete or whatever. So
Michael Vick.
But I think you might be able to put him in that category of a generational talent because he was able to do things that not everybody could do.
There you go.
Right.
And that's the thing. I mean,
these are two different things, and you guys are kind of arguing over two different points.
Come on, let's get back to
in terms of Kyler, I think because he could
talk about $1 million here.
Could really have become like an all-star in the major leagues.
$2 million.
Right. And he's able he's able to play football at a pretty high level. Now he hasn't won.
Hold on. Let the man speak. Let him speak now.
He hasn't won anything yet, but he has the ability to do a lot of crazy things on the field. So
absolutely.
So good point. Let me just say one more thing.
Come on, guys.
No. I'm sorry. I can't because I want to piggyback up what you said.
All right, go ahead.
Stephen came into the NBA.
That's my guy.
And he changed everything. It became a 3-point league again. He
did
things that we haven't seen. I haven't seen since Pete Maravich. Now, you guys, Lou remembers Pete.
Yeah.
You guys, Pete Maravich was the best pure shooter I've ever seen in my lifetime. And I was a big NBA junkie. I got to watch this guy in person. And Stephen Curry comes along and says, screw that. Watch what I can do. And he changed the game.
Right.
So if Kyle Murray wants to be that guy, he's got to change the narrative and change the game, like Patrick has said. That's the bottom line of all this. So if I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback, he's a good quarterback. He's in his second or third different coaching situation now. He got injured. A lot of things have to develop for him to be really, really good. And he's shown flashes, in my mind, to put him in a category to compete with the Patrick Mahomes and the Burrows and the Josh Allens of the NFL. Right. He's got to show more consistency. Then we can say, okay, he has the potential to be that kind of player.
You can have generational talent without having to be one of the greatest to
Correct.
ever.
Absolutely.
Right. I'm not saying he's there yet, but he has the potential to be there.
There's just not many of it because we tend to throw that term around a little bit. But
Right.
there's not many of those guys.
It can be a generation challenge. You go shop in a Tyler section for your shoes. You drop
and Allen Iverson. Go KC. Go KC. You're right. Allen Iverson changed the game too.
Yeah,
man.
he did.
You got to get on the booster seat coming into the stadium.
Talk about
all right.
Talk about a dual sport athlete. He was a great quarterback.
He was.
But let's get into our sponsors before we get into story time with Nick. And then
all right, let's do it. First up, let's talk about my very good friend, Mr. Eric Haynes with the Eric Haynes Real Estate Group. If you're looking for someone who can help you buy or sell a house in the greater Kansas City metropolitan area, there's nobody better than Eric Haynes. He helped my wife, Emily, and I find our house. As everybody knows, it was a 9-month process. It took a couple of months to close. There were a lot of ups and downs and a lot of doubts, but in the end of the day, he held our hand, he negotiated on our behalf, and he and his team did an amazing job of getting us the house of our dreams. So with that said, I trust this man. He is good people. He will take care of you. And he's got a lot of listings. If you click on the link, there's a lot of listings he has in the greater Kansas City area. So just give him a call today, 816-729-3785. You can email him at esaleskc@gmail.com.
Proud sponsor, Chief Who?
And the next proud sponsor is my incredible, amazing wife, Emily Athan. If you are looking for health insurance, open enrollment begins November 1st. It's not too far. You'll have 45 days to choose a government plan or a private option, which is what she does. And she can navigate you through the waters and even help you with ACA plans. So if you want someone who's going to understand the market, give you a free quote, and analyze your current situation, if you're an individual, self-employed, a business owner, family, none of that makes any difference. Let her help you out. It doesn't cost anything to make a phone call. So give her that call today, 913-215-9086.
Emily. He loves Emily.
Okay, who can tell me the significance of number 90 and number 86?
Emily.
If you're a Chiefs fan.
Emily.
I don't know.
Neil Smith and Buck Buchanan. There you go.
Neil Smith and Buck.
Let's get into our story.
I thought you were going to say Emil Harry.
Well, no, I didn't.
What you got for us today, sir?
All right. Well, everybody knows I have a fondness for the early days of the Kansas City Chiefs, and one of my prized possession is something that I think is very unique because father and son have virtually the same signature, and I thought it was pretty important to share that. And I would like to share with you one of my stories from Lamar Hunt. So as we show the signature of Lamar Hunt and his son Clark Hunt, you can kind of see there's Clark's signature. It's very nice. You can read it. It's very well stated. And his father kind of has, just look at the H's. They're very, very similar in how they present themselves. So when I was a little boy, and I'm talking, let's see, this was the summer before the Chiefs. You can see the signature with Lamar Hunt. The summer before the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, I was at a picnic with my dad, Len Dawson, and Bobby Bell, and a whole bunch of other Chiefs players. And I met Lamar Hunt for the first time. Now, okay, Super Bowl was in 1970. I was about 7.5 years old. And my dad knew him because my dad was one of the guys that helped him design a concession plan for Arrowhead when it was built in the 70s. So they knew each other. And so my dad introduced me to him, and I thought, this is just the coolest thing ever. I knew who he was. So the day after the Chiefs won Super Bowl IV, they came home to the old Kansas City Municipal Airport, for those that remember that, downtown. And I said, my dad, I can't see anything. And so my dad put me on his shoulders, and all the players were coming. And Lamar Hunt, who I had met one single time in my life and introduced myself, came up to me, gave me a high five, and he goes, "What did you think about that Super Bowl, Nick?" Now, for me as a kid, for someone of that stature to remember my name and to go out of his way to say hi to me in what was at the time the greatest sporting outcome in the history of Kansas City sports was really cool. And as I got into the media later in my life, you know, I spoke to him several times. I reminded him of that story at least 2 times. And what was so unique about Lamar is he did that with everybody. He knew everybody's name. And I will never forget, I think it was the summer before, it was the draft, maybe a year or 2 before he had passed away. And we're at the draft and we're working the room, and he's on the stadium floor, and he's taking notes. And so when he came up, we asked him. He goes, "Well, we had all the sponsors out there, and I had their phone numbers. I just wanted to make sure that I sent him a personal note that says how much we appreciate them being a sponsor." He was the greatest owner. He's responsible for the AFL and the merger and the fact that the Chiefs are in Kansas City. But so it was a big get for me to get those signatures. The Lamar Hunt signature is pretty rare these days, but the fact that he and Clark, who now have Super Bowls together, and their signatures are virtually identical, it's pretty cool. I think it's worthy of story time today.
Absolutely. And, as far as remembering people's names and so forth, there's a great book written, I think it was Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Right.
I'm guessing Lamar read that book many times as a young man and, started leagues in many different sports. Just a dude that was, hey, maybe he was a little bit ahead of his time.
Soccer, WTA tennis.
Yeah.
He just did so much for the sports world. He's inducted into every possible sports Hall of Fame you can think of. And, there are a lot of things he did behind the scenes. There are a lot of things he did to help the AFL teams that were struggling. He made sure that they had enough money operating and they worked together. And, he even worked with Al Davis, who's to me the greatest character in NFL history as far as ownership goes. But nonetheless, we owe this man a gratitude. And I'm just very fortunate that I got to, speak with him and meet him a few times and talk football and life. And he was just a pure joy.
But what? Yeah, that's amazing. All right. So your dad had help, design some of the concession stands at Arrowhead.
Yeah, he was working with Muriel. He was working with Mr. Kaufman for the Royals when they were putting the design together for the for what they were going to do for the food. My dad was in that industry, and so he worked with Lamar Hunt at the time. This is back in the development stages, late 60s, early 70s, about how to set it up, how to do the concession stands, what kind of local food, what kind of idea. And there were a lot of various ideas. And so the whole concept of the way they spread it out between sections and all those things were part of what my dad worked with him on. And then he also helped the Royals too when they moved into Kauffman Stadium. So, and I think back then they had some pretty good choices of companies to work with. And obviously it's a lot different than it was then as it is now. But that's what he did back in the early days in the 60s and 70s. Is he had vending company experience, and he had a lot of experience designing food distribution systems and locations, and Arrowhead was one of them.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Not bad.
So let's get it right into the takeaways from the
all right,
Chiefs.
let's do it. Main topic time.
The Chiefs and the Falcons, guys. What did you guys take away? A lot of people saying the Chiefs escaped victory. The refs did this, that. The Chiefs won 2017. What was your take from that? Sorry about
for me, Nick Bowden, man, 4th down stop. My man had 7 solo tackles, 1 assist, but the one, he was everywhere in that field, guys. And I gotta give credit to Nick Bowden, man, with that 4th down stop, man. That was huge. That was huge.
Yeah, he's beat up a little bit during the game, got the wind knocked out of him, came back in. Leo made a big play on that 4th down stop as well. I think just overall the team knows how to win, and whether it's special teams, defense, offense, I think maybe this is just who they are. And I think everybody, as fans, everybody's expecting for these offensive explosions and everything else. Do they come? Maybe occasionally. I don't know when the last time Patrick threw for 300 yards, but they keep winning. The defense,
that's all it is, man.
The defense is amazing situationally.
Yep.
They're gonna get beat a few times here and there, but when the money's on the table, they're usually right there making plays. So, just to go along with the theme early on, as far as the formula for winning is play good defense, take care of the ball, efficient passing game, and they win. So it's just, it's just from a fan's perspective, you're just expecting these big explosions, and maybe it's just not really the way the team is built right now. I think it's more of a defensive team.
Yeah, my takeaways and looking at it as, the Chiefs are actually at this time or the Patriots back in the day. You know what I mean? They like I seen a poll out there is the Chiefs the most hated team besides the Cowboys right about now? Everybody hate.
Well, it's a different kind of hate, but yeah.
Yeah, but looking at it now, I look at it. Connor was everywhere. Connor is becoming one of the rising stars on this defense right about now.
I agree.
He was everywhere on the field last night. Nick Bolton, like me and Trey, everybody was calling him out. To see more from him. He had a good game yesterday, and I'm just looking for that when it's get down in the third, down in the red zone, in the end zone, you up there. Let's get away from the trick plays and let's just get right back to attacking the goal line and get in there, to win the game. I mean, get more points on the board and everything else. But Juju looked, he got one catch, for a touchdown. But what I seen is we have a rising star that I've been calling for all last year. Everybody said, hey, I gave him the golden jacket, this, that, everything, Glaze, Ho, Rasheed Rice. But the guy is the number one. Like I said, they said I overreact. I said he's the number one receiver in the league to me. Did you go back and watch the tapes? Because I got him. But with that said, man, hey, we are 3-0 right now, and that's all that matters. It's not how you get there, it's how you do it. You know what I mean? So this lets you know
that's how you finish.
That's how you finish.
That's how you finish.
When it gets to playoff time, the Chiefs is going to battle. They're already going to be battle tested for these type of moments. This is like they are playing playoff football right now.
Right? Well, I think the takeaway for me is, I thought the Juju touchdown catch was really big. I think it was big for Juju. It was good for the offense that now teams have another person they have to look at, which I think helped. Rice is the number one receiver. Right. He's the best offensive player they have on the field. He's the best offensive player currently playing at a high level. He's fantastic. And then you throw in, Carson Steele, 17 carries, 77 yards. He had a key block, on a couple of big plays. He whiffed on, he had a bad block that he missed on the interception that Worthy probably would have scored. There were so many things to like. Chamari Connor, man, he is just playing at a high level.
Yeah, playing phenomenal.
Kudos to Brett Veach, for saying, hey, getting him out there his rookie year, getting him some playing time. He made some plays, but right now he's counted on. He had a fumble return for a touchdown. He had a big interceptions this week, and obviously the fumble return was against the Bengals that changed the course of the game. And he had the big sack. So they've replaced L'Jarius Sneed to some point where they've got another playmaking cornerback out there. And as far as Patrick Mahomes goes, we have built him up, as we talked about earlier with Kyle Murray, as this generational talent that we expect him to put 30, 35 points up. And it just isn't realistic because it's impossible to sustain that kind of success year after year after year without changing. Now, the last couple of years, they changed without Tyreek, and they had hoped that this would be a year where they can get back to that offense. But teams are backing up and they're giving them the middle of the field and they're saying, fine, have a 6-7 minute drive. That's okay. Our offense will come back and do the same and they'll score points. And, it's just going to be a slugfest. And the Chiefs are going to play in 20 slugfest games this season and they're going to be battle tested. And the reason they're 3-0 is every situation they faced this year where you can look at almost any given point in the fourth quarter of all three games that they could have lost. They made the plays. They knew how to anticipate. And it's just like on the final drive. Everybody's bitching and complaining about, the pass interference penalty on Cook. And it was, but, they got hosed with a Chris Jones penalty that, extended their first drive that ended up being a touchdown. 2 of the 3 penalties on the last drive went against the Chiefs that weren't penalties. So it all balances out in the end. And for the record, it was defense. It was pass interference. There's no question. but they just know how to win, and it's not going to be pretty. They're 3-0. They don't have Pacheco. They don't have Hollywood Brown. They threw an undrafted rookie out there at running back. They've got a young receiver in Worthy who they're trying to develop on the fly, figuratively. And, you've got Kelsey who's done nothing. And, Kelsey is struggling, but they're putting 2-3 guys on him. He's still out there blocking. He's still doing what he has to do to help his team.
Well,
so
there's a reason Rashid's getting like 12 and 14 targets a game, is that those are half of those, or maybe even 80% of those were going to Travis in the past.
Yeah.
Right.
Or Juju.
So,
Good point.
Kudos to Rashid that he's making the plays, and actually he's got a little bit more juice when he catches the ball. Maybe after the catch, he's able to do some things that maybe Travis isn't able to anymore. But it all kind of works together. So, if he's getting that many targets, it means that, there's only so many to go around.
Yeah. And Wanye Morris, as Ruben points out, had a terrific game.
He did.
Well, he solidifies a left tackle.
Yeah.
Maybe they move Kingsley to right tackle in the future. I mean, I don't know. It's a good problem to have. But, Wanye, this was not something that we expected. And obviously he was hurt in the last preseason game, so he couldn't really get out there and play. But he looked good. He got beat a couple of times, but nothing.
I'm glad he gave Kingsley some extra snaps, just going in as like a tackle eligible in terms of reporting it as a tight end.
Special
just
teams,
keep him involved in the game, because again, Atlanta doesn't have the greatest pass rush. You got Judon out there, Grady Jarrett in the middle, but he was pretty much neutralized because just the way. I mean, those guys in the middle are just those guys. Them are dogs. That's the MVPs of the offense right there.
Right now,
Tooney, Creed, and Trey is just you can't match that. So we'll see, as we go. So if the charge, if Bosa is somehow healthy for that game next week, and Khalil Mack is healthy, we'll see if Wanye holds up against them. So, it's just a process in terms of that. But, hey, survive in advance.
That's right.
You hope at some point you start to see a little bit more fireworks, Worthy getting loose at times. But I don't remember who said it, but I thought it was a great quote, is the way to have a really good defense is not to play a lot of defense.
Yeah.
Which basically is saying control the ball, keep your defense on the sideline as long as you can, because when they come out and they're well rested, they're going to make stops, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're racing up and down the field, it's hard for your defense to really, get any rest. I mean, you got to have like 15 guys you're siphoning through. So, yeah, we'll go. Next week, first division game. Let's go.
Hey, real quick, man. Robinson, man. The Chiefs held Robinson under 31 yards, 16 carries for 31 yards, and an average of 1.9. He averaged 1.9 against Kansas City's front, man. So we gotta give props to that.
He wasn't even the leading rusher for the Falcons.
He wasn't.
A lot of people ain't talking about Trayshawn Wharton. I think that's his name, number 98.
Sure.
Man, this kid is playing his butt off, and also number 69. Big guy. I keep on forgetting.
Big Mike. He got a sack.
Big Mike, man, like these two. They are the like the Trey Smith and Creed Humphrey, the people that don't get their names talked about more. But these guys are playing their role. They stuffing the run. They doing everything they need to do out there. And Derek Noddy too. He's playing phenomenal football right about now. And also, guys, I've seen a great blocks. He had 72 yards, but I've seen some amazing blocks from my guy with number 72 carrying the Dre head all the way to the victory. But it was great. I'm telling you, the kid is amazing. If you didn't watch the interview afterwards, it was a 6-minute interview that he had with.
I didn't see that. I need to find that. I didn't see it today.
Yeah, he had it. I don't like the dude that what's his name? Used to play for the Patriots. What's his name? Escaped from my name.
Tom Brady.
Not Tom Brady. The guy that's on 41. It was Sunday night football.
Rodney Harrison. He's an
He's an
anti-chief.
He was having a good interview. Then at the end, he gonna say, "Yeah, don't say all that because you said the kid sucked on the sidelines." While the kid sit there I'm like, come on, man. That you didn't have to say all
that. It's a game. That's how it is.
He did play a lot for the Chargers and the Patriots, quote unquote, dynasty. So yeah, he's got a little axe to grind.
I think Mahomes.
Could you say you know, he say our GM did it again. You know, once he did it again, you know, he found a hidden gem in Carson Steele when it's all said and done.
I mean, it's only one game. I mean,
let's not put him in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, don't overglaze him now. Don't. Don't diabetes now. No,
yeah, once he got rolling, I mean, he was, you know, that in the middle of the field getting 5 and 6 yards a pop. That was pretty good.
Yeah, he was focused on holding onto the football. That was very clear.
Yeah,
and his running style and
the blocking,
and the pocket presence was good. Eventually, he'll trust holding the ball a little bit better, and you know, I think the yards will increase. But overall, for what to expect and what they got, I mean, the Chiefs coaches have to be pleased with both him and Morris.
Yeah, good coaching. But I'm gonna say this: I got how good we talking about how great the defense was. Mahomes has to play better, though, guys. I mean, like what Lou said, you got to keep the defense fresh. You got to keep them fresh, man. You can't have bonehead plays, turnovers, and stuff like that. Mahomes has to play better because
he was the first one. He was the first one to admit it after the game.
He admitted that after.
I mean, he knows it. He know that throw. You just can't make that throw. You're in the red zone, whatever. So, you know,
it should have been 2 picks. We threw it all the way down there to Worthy. Was that Worthy? I looked back and watched it.
Yeah, it was Worthy.
Worthy ran all the way to this safety, then try to take all that open space. You got to take advantage of that open space and get open and come across, not just run straight up to the cornerback. Then take it. Ain't no way Mike Hughes should have been on the back.
He's still in the NFL.
Right.
Hey, calm down, bro. Remember, Worthy's a rookie now. Worthy's a rookie. That's your boy. You glazed him up. Rookie of the year. You glazed him up now. 17
I had him rookie of the year too.
17 yards. I'm just saying,
not
man.
Enough. 30 yards of offense is not enough for this kid.
Hey, man, 4 for 2, 17, man. Hey,
Justin Simmons got his 6th Patrick interception ball. He's like a magnet. Unbelievable.
It's gonna send him a Hall of Fame bouquet.
I don't know why the Chiefs didn't take a chance on him. You know, he was out there.
He wanted a lot of money. He got $10 million from Atlanta
for 1 year though.
We drafted Jaden Hicks. You got Brian.
I got my guys some love, man. Come on.
Jaden Hicks had a good special teams tackle. It didn't count, but
I'm saying, God. But again, defense. To me, the start of the game was the defense. The defense played phenomenal.
Yeah, they really did a good job setting the edge on the runs. Because whether it was the safeties coming up, I mean, on that last play, if you see it, you know, Bolton shoots through the hole and makes the tackle. If you look on the right, you know, Leo comes across from the left, but you got like Brian Cook and Jalen Watson of all people having set the edge, and and you know, Robinson's got to try to cut back, and it was just blown up. That was top notch.
His only chance was to go in the hole that Bolton came in. Yeah. And hopefully make him miss.
Hold on. Ruben said, Pat already said it, Dre. I know, Ruben. I'm just saying. Pat is right there. I can't glaze that man up. No, I'm saying this is what it is, man. It is what it is, man.
Yeah, he does. He does. Like I said, he's the first to admit it. There's just, you know, the 2 or 3 throws. I mean, even in the first half, like the one where Rasheed kind of had to almost like fall. There was nobody around him.
The first pass, that would have been a huge gain. He might have scored.
He had to fall to catch it. Right. Yeah, and then it's like, all right, so if you hit him in stride, and so
Patrick's issues are simply I think Patrick's issues are 2 things. One, you know, he's uncomfortable not knowing what's going to happen at left tackle, and 2 is he's just not stepping into throws like he used to. And when he has time, he doesn't understand sometimes that it's okay just to take a half a second and make sure your feet are planted. But these back foot throws, you know, and again on the interception to Worthy, you know, Coach Reed talked about today, you know, there was a blown assignment in coverage. He should have gotten the ball to him sooner. There was a blown assignment in the blocking scheme. There should have been a touch. But the point is, he's trying to force things, and he's just not comfortable with his offensive line and the tackles. Especially the left tackle. He didn't know how Morris was going to play well. And granted, was it Juwan? Is that his name? The defender for the Falcons. Mm-hmm. He's an undersized guy, so he should dominate him. And he got to Patrick, I think, once.
Morris is a big guy. If you haven't seen this kid in person, man,
he's a big boy.
Built like Godzilla.
Helps on the wall, though. I mean, he's a really good player. But
they
have a really low pressure rate just overall. So you didn't think that they were going to be like a really true test.
Yeah,
and they did they kept him protected for the most part.
Yeah, but he's got to have more confidence in the pocket.
But
and survey the field better.
We all love Pat, but we do 22 film, and the guy makes some bad decisions out there when it came to fit, because you have Rice coming right up underneath wide the freak open, and he just booked the pass out there.
Well, that was because Worthy didn't run the right route too, and so Patrick didn't want them crashing into each other.
He said
he had plenty of time. He could have run for the first.
Somebody, I think it was Matt Derrick, asked Coach Reed about that, and he was trying to be very vague about it when he talked about that particular play. And he said, and Derek framed it as a Worthy question. And the way Coach explained it was, no, that was his compadre's error. So he didn't want to call Rice out. Somebody was in the wrong spot, right? I mean, one of them, and it sounds like Rasheed might have, because he did say it with Patrick, it was a check. And maybe he didn't get the message. He ran the original route.
Yeah, Worthy ran the right route. It was Rice who didn't run the right route.
Now, again, that was Coach Reed trying to, he doesn't want to call anybody out for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, hopefully he'll blossom out down.
But he did.
Kathy has a question for us. You guys see them working to the run a little bit more.
I think that was about the right amount of running last night.
Kareem Hunt should suit up on Sunday too, from what I'm told. So we'll see.
I mean, they probably had about 25 called run plays.
Let's see. They had
Steele had 17.
33.
33.
33 rushing plays.
Subtract maybe some of the Patrick's runs. But I mean, just in terms of carries, how many you had? Steele at 17. How many did P. Ryan have?
P. Ryan had 6, Steele had 17, Patrick had 6, Worthy 3, and Rice 1.
Okay. So, but in terms of the running backs, like I said, 17, 25, that's probably where they want to be.
Right.
Yep. Let's get into our sponsors before we close out.
All right, let's do it. First up, let's talk about my good friend, Mr. Eric Haynes with the Eric Haynes Real Estate Group. If you're looking for someone who can help you find or sell a house in the greater Kansas City metropolitan area, plus someone who's a big Chiefs fan, give Eric Haynes a call today at 816-729-3785. Click the link, and you can see all the listings he has right now. There's some super houses and some great prices available. So if you're looking, 816-729-3785.
Proud sponsor of Chief Who.
That's right. And if you are looking for health insurance, there's nobody better than my incredible wife, Emily Athan. If you want to get a custom quote, if you just need someone to analyze your current health plan, she'll do it at no charge. It's all free. And maybe she can help you not only find a plan that's a lower premium, but also a greater access to medical facilities all over the country. So give her a call today at 913-215-9086.
Emily.
You see how catching on? I'm following Luz.
Yes,
well, I'm counting on you for the rest of it. The Nikki loves part. I'm just like the backup guy.
See, just like Worthy and Rice. I'm doing my job. I got to put it together.
If we on Apollo, we getting booed off the stage, and the guy is coming with the hook right off of it. So
and that field was getting hooked first, sir.
So with that said, man, hey, great show, great game. You know what I mean? The heart attack Chiefs have done it to me once again.
Cardiac kids. Yep.
The cardiac kids did it to me once again last night. Heart racing for a win. But hey, we got the Chargers coming up. We got Chiefs who this Wednesday. So with that said, Kareem, you better come correct because Lou's been on the road.
Kareem saving himself. Didn't see him in the crowd today.
Yeah.
He was there for a little bit. He was there for a little bit.
Was he?
You guys Wednesday.
Peace out, guys. Have a good week. See you Wednesday.